I remember watching Derek Comedy sketches online in the mid-2000s. Derek Comedy was and still is a sketch comedy group, and that was the first time that I ever saw Donald Glover. But since then, he's become a jack of all trades, letting his many talents bubble to the surface. Donald Glover was born September 25th, 1983 at Edwards Air Force Base in California, and was raised in Stone Mountain, Georgia. His father, Donald Glover Sr., is a retired postal worker, and his mother, Beverly, is a retired daycare provider. Donald Glover was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. He graduated from NYU in 2006 with a degree in dramatic writing, and while he was still a student at NYU at the age of 23, Tina Fey hired him as a writer on the NBC show 30 Rock. Childish Gambino, the musical stage name that Glover uses, actually came from a Wu-Tang Clan name generator. In 2008, Donald Glover auditioned to play President Obama on Saturday Night Live. The role instead went to SNL cast member Fred Armisen. Also in 2008, he released his first mixtape titled Sick Boy under the name Childish Gambino. In 2009, the sketch group that Donald Glover was a member of, Derek Comedy, released a feature-length film called Mystery Team. Some of you guys probably know Donald Glover from the show Community. I've actually never seen a single episode of that show. It's always staring at me on Hulu, and I need to fire it up sometime. But Donald Glover appeared in the first 5 seasons of Community and then left the show, stating that he needed to work on projects that offered him more independence as he worked through some personal issues. In 2010, he had a 30-minute stand-up comedy set on Comedy Central Presents. Also in 2010, there was a big viral internet campaign to get Donald Glover to be Spider-Man. #Donald for Spider-Man. Stan Lee even supported the effort, but the role ultimately went to Andrew Garfield. Glover later said that he was never contacted by anyone about the role. Glover ended up voicing Spider-Man on the Ultimate Spider-Man animated series. So what do we have so far? Sketch comedy, stand-up comedy, music, acting, writing. For one of the biggest sitcoms at the age of 23, it's always interesting to sit down and make one of these Star Wars profile videos because it's fun to research what all these folks have done. And what's really interesting is the fact that Donald Glover, a 34-year-old dude, has accomplished more in such a short period of time than some of the biggest Star Wars names I've talked about in this video series. I have to wonder, maybe Glover is doing the whole Star Wars thing right. Get a lot of awesome shit under your belt, do a lot of cool things, and then become Lando. In 2011, Donald Glover released his first studio album titled Camp. Also in 2011, his 1-hour stand-up comedy special Weirdo aired on Comedy Central. In 2013, Glover signed on to create a musical-themed show for FX. The show was and is called Atlanta. He writes, stars in, and executive produces the show and sometimes even directs a few episodes. Also in 2013, his second studio album called Because the Internet came out. In 2015, Glover appeared in 3 films: The Martian, The Lazarus Effect, and Magic Mike XXL. He has voiced a bunch of animated shows including Ultimate Spider-Man, China, Illinois, and Adventure Time. He's been in a ton of video shorts as Childish Gambino as well. In 2016, the show Atlanta debuted, which he created, stars in, writes for, and directs. The show just finished its 2nd season. The 3rd season is scheduled to come out next year in 2019, according to IMDb. In 2017, he was in Spider-Man Homecoming as Aaron Davis, and in 2018, he starred in Solo: A Star Wars Story as a young version of Lando Calrissian. The most recent entry on the long list of projects he's working on is the live-action CGI mix, The Lion King remake, that's scheduled to come out on July 19th, 2019. He's actually going to be voicing Simba. So, Donald Glover, a man of many talents. This video only scratches the surface of what he's worked on and what he is going to be working on. His career is a fun one to follow because it dips into so many facets of entertainment, and I'm excited to see where he ends up and what he ends up doing in the future. HelloGreedo, out.